Good morning and welcome, Patriots News Hour. Joe and Jason live on this Monday. I hope it finds you well out there. Man, it was a football weekend all weekend long. How did it go? What is the bloom off the rose with prime time? Nebraska, oof, that was an ugly first half for Colorado. The Arizona teams, heck, even the Sun Devils beat an SEC team, maybe not a very good one, but they're looking pretty good. And then, of course, you get to the same old Cardinals. Yeah, another defeat there. And I'm really glad that we got the quote-unquote best receiver in the draft this year, and we're going to the passing attack, and you got to actually throw him the ball. See, that's kind of how it's supposed to work. It's almost like the Federal Reserve is running the Cardinals, right? Hey, let's just do things that make no sense, and then somehow tell everybody we're trying to help you out, and then, of course, I know, Bo Nix, you guys were excited. Preseason doesn't mean anything, does it? Yeah, it's going to be one of those years I got a bad feeling for the Colorado and Arizona fans out there, the Broncos and the Cardinals. We'll see what happens. Our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. Of course, the physical delivery of wealth insurance. Gold and silver, it is what we do. allamericangold.com. That is the website. And please, stop calling the guys that advertise on Fox. They all rip you off. I don't know how much. I don't know. I just got to be that blunt about it. It's just the truth, right? You want to do an IRA. You want to roll over an IRA. Call us. You want to do business? You want some private gold at your house? Call us. You're not going to get whacked. You're not going to give up 40% commissions and all that other nonsense out there. Listen, we deal in single digits. Heck, 3-4 times this month, in the last 30 days, we've been selling stuff below cost on certain things. By the way, get ready again today. I've got a special. There's going to be 30 of them, and I'm talking once again, outrageously dumb pricing from Patriot Trading Group is coming. But, Jason, it's an action-packed week. We've got CPI this week. We got PPI, so we get more inflation numbers. We got the big debate, right, coming down the pipe here. That's going to be interesting. Do people get worried if Harris has a good showing? I don't know. I would think probably. I've said it all along. This thing is going to be super, super close. And I don't know that anybody is going to be happy about it. And then, of course, we get the quiet period from the Fed. So 1 week before they make their big announcement, they all shut up. Well, let's face it. All of them were talking your backsides off all week last week. We know we're going to get a rate cut. We don't know how big or how little, and we don't know, hey, how many more rate cuts are we going to get? All of that is going to be, I guess, made available to us in the next, 10 days or so. So, Jason, no lack of things going on that are really, I think, going to be things that the market's going to be looking for. Obviously, right now for Wall Street, if it's only a quarter of a point and we may cut, later after the election, I think they'll be very unhappy. I think they're going to look for something extremely, extremely dovish coming out of the Federal Reserve.
We'll see, Joe. We'll see. I think it might be less about how much the rate cut's going to be, and then more about what we're speaking about the future rate cuts.
That's right.
Now that the market's got their rate cut, now it's thank you, sir. May I have another? Right? that'll be the only thing that's important next week.
It'll be like the Federal Reserve drafted Marvin Harrison, and then didn't throw him the ball, right? So the Wall Street wants to know. They want to be certain you're going to throw him the ball, and you're going to throw it to him game after game after game after game. That is what they want to hear from Wall Street. We'll have to wait and see. By the way, Big Lots, it is official. They have filed for bankruptcy. A hedge fund is going to buy them, assuming there's no other bidders, which I don't think there will be. And then we'll find out, they already said of the 1,400 stores, they're going to close, over 300 of them. We'll find out how many more in the next week or two, because there will be more. And then Macy's, they're going to shut 55 more locations between now and the end of the year. So Jason, Macy's is saying, hey, we got to get rid of some of these stores even before, I guess, the Christmas holiday, as it, once again, the retailers are saying that the consumer has stopped buying. And then we did get an update from the Social Security trustees as to the deficits that are facing these programs. And Jason, we already know, right? They just keep getting worse, right? The amounts that we owe. Here's the new best case scenario for the Social Security outlook. They're saying a $63 trillion deficit. That is the best that we can hope for. Oh boy, yeah. What's another 63 trillion on top of 43 trillion? Just add it all up together. It's just lots of trillions. We'll be back after the break. We're back here, the Patriot Radio News Hour, Joe and Jason on this Monday. These bankruptcies, these liquidations, an Illinois-based trucking company that has a contract with the U.S. Post Office has notified all 650 employees, including its 480 drivers, that they are ceasing operations effective immediately. The Midwest Transport was the company. Jason, this is just another sign, again, right? It's starting to spread here. If the retailers are saying, hey, you're ordering less stuff, right? You're not buying stuff, they're going to order less stuff. Well, obviously, the trucking industry, I think that's a great place to look at. And, we'll see. Even a contract with the post office, that just tells you no one's mailing crap anymore. I say we get rid of the post office. It already cost us too much money. Everyone uses UPS and FedEx. Heck, when you buy gold from us, if you don't pick up from us, we ship FedEx. Why? Because it's cheaper. Yeah, think about that. And it's a lot easier, I'll tell you that right now. But back to this report. Oh, wait, I got to do a market update. I almost forgot. The Dow's up 300, so recovering. Last week took it on the chin. S&P, not as good, up 27. NASDAQ really not playing. I mean, it's up 48, but the NASDAQ had a really bad week last week. The 10-year note, 370 on the 10-year note. Gold is flat right now. Silver's actually up a little bit, just above $28. And Jason, we keep telling you, get diversified here. Look for alternatives. Don't be completely exposed to the stock market. We always say, hey, don't put all your money into gold. Don't put it all into silver. Don't put all your money into housing. Don't have all your money into the stock market. Maybe you've got a big IRA. You got too much money sitting in your bank accounts. Everyone's now watching, right? Who's going to be the bank that's going to suffer the most during the next downturn? But check out our friends at YRefi. I mean, it's a great program. It's all about student loan debt, and it's not the government stuff. Like when the government tells you, hey, we're forgiving this or that, that's not why refi does. Because that's government stuff. So there's two different types of loans, private and then the government loans. Remember, the government only give you $5,000. So, college now, 1 year of college now at a cheap place is like 15. So on the private side, those guys don't mess around. Hey, you graduated. Your first payment, it's due in 30 days, right? These college kids, they're dumb. They don't know anything. Well, guys, I haven't even gotten a job yet. Or I can barely pay the rent, and they get put in default like immediately. I mean, it's crazy how many people with this private loan within 90 days of graduation, most of them are already getting into default within a year. That's where all of this is, and then they're done. They can never get rid of it. Their lives are ruined. Their credit reports are toast. They can't borrow any money, and then all of a sudden, hey, like a lot of people, hey, I finally got my life together. I got a good job. Guys, if someone would just give me a break here, I can make a payment. That's why refi does. It's incredible. The reason. Well, how can they pay up to 10.25% fixed rate of return, not correlated to Wall Street? This is how. Check it out. They'll explain it all to you, and you'll be like, oh, my God, that makes total sense. Incredible. InvestYRefi.com. That's the word invest, the letter Y, REFY.com. Or just call them at 888-YREFI-24. Now, we've talked a lot about debt. Right? And of course, Wall Street's a debt market. We have, obviously, the U.S. national debt. By the way, another government shutdown. I thought we were done till the election. Apparently, we aren't. Apparently, there's another shutdown that could happen at the end of this month. So get ready for this. But the biggest thing, and why I tell people, listen, we got a big problem coming. Right, in this boom and bust cycle, why can't we just go into even more debt, right? Why can't we just go to 60, 70, 80 trillion? I think we're going to find out. But we have a major problem in 2026. It really starts, getting bad next year, but in 2026, we've got a Medicare-Medicaid problem. On top of the Social Security problem, which they say is what, 2030 something, 2032, 2033, depends on which month, but somewhere in that vicinity. Well, over the weekend, the OASDI, take my word for it, this is the trust fund administrators. They said, hey guys, it's not bad. It can be fixed. Here's what they need to do. Now, the problem is they need to do it now, so every year they delay, it gets worse. They said if they raised the FICA tax to 17%, okay, now it's 12.4 right now. That's the tax right now. So for those of you that are like Jason and I, okay, you're a small business owner, you got to pay all of it, right? You got to pay 12.4. For those of you that work for the man, well, you pay 6.2%, they pay 6.2%. See how it works, right? And you see that off of your paycheck. Like, it's always fun when your teenager gets their first job and they're like, who the heck is FICA, right? Why did they take my money? Well, that's who they are. Now, here's the problem. That would be raising, a 33% increase in the FICA tax. But could you imagine right now, hey, how about if we just take 8.5% of your paycheck and your employer pays 8.5%? Or, hey, I don't know, you're a small business owner, and now all of a sudden you got to give the government 17% of your earnings? Yeah, it's It's coming. But they said, no, hold on. If we just reduced current and future benefits. So think about this. A permanent reduction for all current and future beneficiaries. Well, how much? How much do you got to take away? 26.5% of your benefits. If we just took away over 25% of your benefits starting right now, then, Jason, they could fix the Social Security problem. And again, the Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, it's unpayable. It really, truly is when you think about what it's going to be. And every year they wait. Think about this. By the time 2026 rolls around, because when we hit a recession and people stop paying Social Security taxes, it gets really bad really fast. Like, we've had a really good run, really, since COVID. Like, we've never had more people working ever. It's been great, and it still sucks. Could you imagine if they come back and say, well, we need to go to 20%? Hey, we just need 20% of your blood, sweat, and tears. And that doesn't fix the deficits, right? That just stores up this program.
Yeah, and they been hearing all kinds of people in retirement age going out early, retiring early. Lots of people stopped working. I think there's quite a swell of older people, Joe, in their 60s saying, okay, I'm done. You know what? I better yank my 401k now because I don't like what I see next year, right, Joe? So that Social Security is being tugged at really hard on the other side more and more I would say just this last year especially. And can you imagine how many people are going to try to pull out when things go sideways here in the next few months, Joe?
Now, I told you this was the best case. This is the idiotic case. This is the least likely. According to the Outlook, they are based on the most rosy scenarios, meaning that the United States will not have any financial crisis, any major military conflicts, any other pandemics. To make matters worse, the report has the Trump-era tax cuts will completely lapse. Okay? For a lot of you don't know this. When Trump lowered the corporate tax, he gave you guys and us, he gave us a tax cut. That ends this next year. That needs to go. Yeah, people are going to freak out over it. By the way, tax revenues somehow are going to increase more than they ever have. In other words, unlikely at the rate they're even suggesting. And one other thing. Defense spending will not increase. This is all the things that would have to happen, Jason, just for that 17%, or, hey, we'll reduce your benefits by 26.5%. It's unrealistic. And I think people are going to be very shocked what happens to the debt. Because right now, listen, Social Security, it doesn't bring in enough now. All it does is it gets added onto the debt. Because they got the fake trust fund money, and they keep telling, it doesn't run out till it's already run out. It doesn't exist. Right now, the government uses an accounting trick that it just adds to the deficit. But what people don't realize is we're about 18 months, let's see, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 months away from another huge increase in what the government needs to put out. And it's going to come at a time where, could you imagine that we're in the throes of a recession and this is coming out on top of it? This is why I think a lot of people are worried that could we have a $4 trillion budget deficit in the next, say, 2 years? And the answer is yes. I mean, right now it's at 2. That would be doubling it from where it is right now. And we're struggling with what we have now, Jason.
It's just going to get worse. The tugs and the pulls on the system is getting more and more. And so, Joe, they have to figure out a way to balance it, right? And this is why I keep saying that ultimately, Joe, that what it appears to be is inflate their way out of this thing. And rate cuts are going to move right faster towards that sort of situation. Hey, we'll keep the markets, we'll keep producing, right? Like you said, get more people paying into the system as best they can. But the only way to really get on top of this is to make the debt payments seem like a smaller percentage of what they're paying, Joe, because the debt interest payments are ridiculous, right, Joe? And they're just going to get worse and worse. So the attempt, I think, will be to inflate their way out. But I don't think we're going to have the same World War II ability to slide out of this thing, Joe. It's just not going to work this time. We'll see. I mean, we look at this thing as what's going to happen now, what's going to happen in the next weeks and months. But what's going to happen 10 years, 15 years from now when this thing is just not curable, right, Joe? Kicking the can down the road just seems like there's a never-ending kicking the can down the road, but it will stop at some point, Joe. There will be a reckoning, and it's better to get prepared in times like this now, which already seem bad, but aren't nearly going to be as bad as what's getting ready to hit us in the short-term and long-term future, Joe.
Yeah, and this is pretty simple math. But like I said, it's not even complicated math. So that was the update for all of you getting ready to retire. Yeah, that's why we keep telling you about why refi. That's why we keep telling you to get your gold and silver put away, because we already know what's coming. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour, Joe and Jason here on this Monday. I've got it's a limited special, but it is a fantastic opportunity here. We're going to do the $10 Indian. The $10 Indian, that's the female Lady Liberty with her Indian headdress on. That was the coins. The Indians were the fractional for the St. Gaudens coins. They're of the Indians, of the $10, the $5, the $2.50. They're the one that tends to be the most expensive or more expensive than the Liberty counterpart. But today I've got 30 of them, and they're going to be really well priced. $1,385. You're looking at a difference of $20. It's $20 less than a $10 Liberty. But for these 30, for the $1,385, you will receive either a 63 Morgan dollar, a 64 piece dollar, or a proof cameo MS-70 Silver Eagle. So we've got a little bit of those. We ran that Silver Spectacular on Friday. You guys bought all the good ones, right? All the 64 Morgans, 65 Morgans, 66 Morgans, all the 65, 66 pieces. All of those are gone. But think about this. These coins that I'm going to give to you in conjunction with that $10 Indian, the least expensive one, my cost would be like $60. Just my cost. So if you really look at it, you're going to get a 63 Morgan, a 64 piece dollar, or a cameo MS-70 proof Silver Eagle. All of them, which cost at least $60, and a couple of these more than $60, for nothing. Or you can look at it this way: you're buying that Indian, which already is at a huge price. It's like only paying $1,325 for that $10 Indian. However you want to look at it. Here's the deal. I only have 30 of them. And really, when you think about how we're pricing this out today, this whole package, $1,385 per package, you're looking at pretty much, hey, I'm going to get a half ounce of gold and one of these great silver dollars or Silver Eagle, and I'm paying almost cost for the whole thing. That's how great of a deal it is at $1,385. Remember, there's only 30. I don't have 31. I don't have 32. I've got 30 of them at 800-951-0592. On top of this Fed meeting, which is coming next week, right after the government is facing another potential shutdown as the agents, they run out of money. The Continuing Appropriations and Other Matters Act 2025, agencies running beyond September 30th funding deadline. So remember, you got to have the new budget, right? The budget for the federal government for 2025 starts October the 1st. The Congress is already trying to put along measures, stopgap measures. I'm hoping that they're going to get this resolved. They're trying to come up with something that gives them to March 28th of 2025. But one of the things the Republicans want is they want a $10 billion for the federal emergency for FEMA, for national disaster relief. We haven't had hurricanes. Remember, we're supposed to have all these hurricanes. What happened? An additional $47 million for extra security during Inauguration Day. But one of the things that the Republicans want that apparently the Democrats just can't stand is to block non-citizen voting. Apparently that's way too controversial. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. Remember, this is when we get the warnings from the rating agencies if it gets too close to the deadline and the government doesn't pass some measure. I think they will. But now it's just a bunch of games that are being played. And then on top of that, so that's something, I guess we got to at least look out for. And then more recession indicators. When we look at what is happening, it's called the McKelvey Recession Indicator. This is another one of those indicators that isn't wrong. They have a very good track record here, and they're talking about the JOLT survey, how the fact that the number of job openings now is getting to the point where it's almost 1-to-1, because they're saying, well, they said 7.6, but half of those, really aren't real job postings. And it's something that we'll have to start seeing. We'll see. I think it's early yet, but the employment situation, if it starts to deteriorate more from here, then we're going to have more problems. And then last but not least, the big BRICS meeting that is coming up at the beginning of, I want to say it's the beginning of next month. So something to look out for here. They're preparing for a presentation of in the next BRICS summit to determine which common unit of account, a platform for international settlements in the BRICS currency, the BRICS bridge payment system, and there is definitely some comments saying that they're working towards a BRICS payment system, at least somewhat backed by gold. We'll see how that plays out, but the one thing that is definitely going to happen at the next BRICS summit is the tokenization, the digital currency system is definitely going to be highlighted here. And the talk now, 40% to gold, 60% to the BRICS national currencies is kind of what they're talking about. So, hey, who's ever in BRICS, we're going to throw your currency in the basket. It'll be 60% by fiat, 40% backed by gold. Well, that'll be a big change. Patriot Radio News Hour. We got a couple of lines open. Jump on these Indians. 800-951-0592. 800-951-0592. We got 25 of the specials today still left. Remember, this is the $10 Indian big savings. $1,385. I mean, a $10 Indian, what are we talking about? $1,420 regular price, right? So you're talking about, what, $35 off at $1,385. But when you buy one, you're going to get at no extra cost an MS-63 Morgan dollar or an MS-64 Peace dollar or an Ultra Cameo MS-70 proof Silver Eagle. All of those items just cost $60 plus. So, when you think about it, hey, if you bought any of those for $60, right, that'd be like getting the Indian for $13.25. It's an incredible opportunity to get a half ounce of gold. And let's face it, we call them the cool silver coins, right? Whether it's the old silver dollars or these proof Cameo Silver Eagles. You're barely above cost for the two items combined. You can't do it any better than this. $1,385 gets you both. Here's the thing. I only got 25 of them left. 800-951-0592. So we got the update on Social Security over the weekend. I mean, it's almost a waste of effort because they are so unrealistic in their assessments. But something else happened here. I told you BRICS now saying, hey, we're going to go digital. We already knew that. But now they're saying that they may put 40% of the basket in gold. Why the change? Because people have talked about BRICS in gold, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll see. Well, let me tell you what's happened. The United States Treasury, Janet Yellen, in her infinite wisdom, has been putting extreme pressure on these Chinese banks not to do business with Russia. Right? Because Russia's winning the war. Sorry, they're winning. Well, word out now is Russia made a major change to its gold purchasing and has put a 700% increase effective immediately in the amount of gold Russia is going to be purchasing, because what has happened, according to recent reports, the Chinese banks are saying, okay, we'll be friendly, Janet, we'll do what you want, are now using gold as a main payment method for goods due to the mounting challenges in conducting traditional banking transactions. This shift is prompted by the increased pressure of U.S. sanctions and threats of secondary sanctions. And now, all of a sudden, this is BRICS saying, okay, great. We see what you're doing. And remember, we've said this before, they're part of the banking system. Now Russia and China apparently are using gold as one of their main transaction devices. So it makes sense now that Russia is saying, hey, we're going to start increasing our gold purchases on a monthly basis. And an increase, it's actually like 734%. I mean, it's a crazy amount. They're going from about 1.9, I think it's 1.9, there it is, 1.12 billion rubles a day to 8.2 billion rubles a day, 732% increase. And according to the Russian news agencies, this is effective immediately. So this is another one of these changes we'll have to see at the next BRICS summit. We knew about the tokenization. We knew about the BRICS bridge payment system. But now reports are circulating that the idea that is coming, at least talked about with these BRICS leaders, and it makes sense because everybody that is in BRICS or wants to be in BRICS has been buying gold, right? What's the reason behind it? At least according to this latest report, they are going to allow payments to be made with the BRICS currencies, all of your own currencies. You can do it. You want to do it in rupees. You want to do it in renminbis. You want to do it in Russian rubles, British reals, whatever. But then that's going to be 60% of the basket. Jason, they're talking about the other 40% is going to be gold. And that would be a bigger amount than I would have thought. Like, I could understand, okay, well, hey, we're going to do 10% gold or maybe 15% gold. But 40% gold is significant. And not shockingly, because the U.S. is now threatening even more sanctions against Chinese banks, Russia and China have said and made this announcement that, hey, we're going to start conducting the majority of our transactions in gold. And Russia this weekend announced, hey, by the way, we're going to increase our daily gold purchases by 730%.
Well, if they decide to reset things, then that 40% gold can... it doesn't have to be a whole lot of gold if they decide just to reset that price. Just look at the debt clock, what it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah, what a great point, right? They just say, hey, gold's out worth $5,000, $10,000. Boy, it takes a whole lot less gold to get the 40%. Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment coming up. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour, Joe and Jason. Gold's up a couple of bucks here at 2,500. Silver up 28 cents, 28.23 as a rally on Wall Street today after that brutal week last week. But mostly just on the Dow. So I don't know. I guess I think Boeing made a deal with its unions of some sort. But other than that, Jason, this Indian gold special, this cannot be missed. How about that? I guess can't put a bigger emphasis on being able to buy the right items at the right pricing, and this is it. This is definitely, it's not. I don't have a lot of them, but it's all about, hey, what am I getting and what am I paying for it? We're already talking about we run single-digit markup. Jason, you're talking a half ounce of gold and one of these cool silver coins. It doesn't even matter which one you get. And you're talking about buying all of that for almost dead cost at $1,385. You can't beat it. You really can't. I mean, if this was a regular retail on these items, just to give you an idea, you're probably talking $1,500, right? And that would be a low retail. You go use one of these Fox morons for this stuff. I'll tell you right now, every one of the coins that we're going to give you in this, a minimum of $140, $150 from those guys. That's a minimum. That's if they're giving you a discount, right? I don't even want to know what they charge you for the $10 Indian. They'd probably, I don't know, $1,600, $1,700. No, you get both of them here, $1,385. Don't let it pass you by. 800-951-0592. It's going to be interesting. This change potentially in BRICS. We know We've always speculated. We thought gold would be some kind of part of it. We'll see what it actually will be here. But at least right now, indications are it's going to be a 60-40 split, which, wow, that's really aggressive. But, Jason, I think you brought up a great point. That's only aggressive if gold is still $2,500, right? A lot less aggressive if gold's 5,000. A lot less aggressive if gold's 10,000. Really not aggressive at all if it's 20,000, right? I mean, those are the things that we haven't factored in yet.
You know, America's been, bankrupt or defaulted a couple of times. Not like it's never happened. They don't say the word bankrupt, right, Joe? But they do things. They change the money, and if they have to change the money, that means the system that's in place was broken. It wouldn't work anymore. And in 1933, when they made gold illegal, $20 gold piece, your 1 ounce gold piece was $20, and as soon as you gave it back to the government, they turned around and made it $35. Right, Joe? So you're talking $5,000 gold. And that would change the values of backing whatever system up with a certain percentage of gold much, much easier, Joe. It's essentially doubling the gold value. And I'll tell you right now, I know the BRICS nations will be just fine doubling it up once they've accrued the amount that they're trying to achieve right now, Joe.
Yeah. See, and that's the funny part. Well, they won't do that. They can't do that. Yeah, we did it, right? Let's not forget, we did it in 1933. Hey, it's not $20, it's $35. What was that, like a 75% increase? Yeah. Don't say never. 800-951-0592, the great Indian and cool silver.